I was walking in the grass, but I stepped on a lot of sticks. But anyways, so let's release this energies that we got going on right now. That's the vibe right now. Release, right? Grounding, releasing. And you ever seen those like ionic foot detox things where people put their feet in that little tub or whatever, that little tank, and after a while the tank just turns like brown, like somebody just took a dump in it, and it's supposed to be all these toxins that are coming out the soles of your feet. That is the energy that is going on right now. That same energy of things looking fine on the surface, but things needing to be released. And as they're released, you can kind of start to see exactly how murky and how bad or how gross some of these energies that we hold within us are, right? And so that is definitely the vibe right now. We have to allow ourselves a chance to do this stuff, but also be gentle with ourselves and not be like, oh, like that's nasty, or I'm nasty, or like that. Obviously it's nasty, right? Like the whole idea, it's like you don't want it to, we all want to be healthy and clean and stuff like that, but the idea of that being out of you is way cooler, right? So I don't have to explain it. Y'all are smart at this point, but releasing those things, right? Everything may seem totally fine on the surface, but we have to go in and release these things, bring them up. I mentioned this before, and if you've already done this, great. You've already done this, cool. But this is me kind of reiterating this for anybody who didn't see the last video, and for everybody else, because the energies are shifting right now, and I'm just wanting everybody, as much as I can, to be able to go with this shift as seamlessly as possible. And right now we have to kind of purge ourselves of past traumas and things that we've held on to, because they're not going to serve us going forward. They're only going to be things that we bring into the next situation. Just like right now, all the stuff that's coming out of people's spiritual feet, right? It's like these things, they look fine on the surface, but we don't really understand exactly how much is going on, or how much we hold on to, or how much we've forgotten, how much actually needs to be released. And it's your choice to do that, right? You have to choose to release these things. You have to choose to not hold on to things. You have to choose to not repeat the same patterns of, these stuff, because going into this next stage, this next era, the value is going to be a lot more on that inner balance that you have, on that collective value, right? In a sense, like what you're providing the collective, what you're taking away from the collective, stuff like how you interact with the rest of the body system, right? Are you somebody who's going to be cancerous and the immune system's going to attack, or are you going to be one of the ones that are there to protect and facilitate the processes and systems and stuff like that? So I don't want to make this too long. This is actually kind of a simple concept and a simple thing. Let's let go. Let's dig up whatever we got to dig up, bring it to the surface, and release these things. And like I mentioned before, it's not for us to hold on to it, and a lot of these things people hold on to, but when they actually see it, they're like, oh, God, I was doing that. I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I let that happen. I can't believe I was doing that to other people. That's not me. But that's the energy right now. So let's let these things go. It might be the process might be a little funky, but looking at it on the side, but coming out of it on the other side, that you're better off. And yes, I know that some of those ionic foot detox things may not actually work like they're advertised, but just the idea of that, of things looking fine, you allowing yourself to release these things and seeing how much is actually backed up and bogged down, like defragging a computer. I was going through this the other day, and I was just everything. I was just trying to give it as much as I can. I was like, oh, and this and that, oh, and then this, and then that happened, and then this happened, and that happened, and that happened. And I was just kind of more so exhausting myself. And I've done that before, with gratitude. Like I've done that before when I was like, hey, universe, like thank you for this, thank you for my feet, thank you for my hair, thank you for this, thank you for my health, thank you for these people, thank you for this opportunity, thank you for this, thank you for the air, thank you for this. And I'll literally try to exhaust myself with things to thank the universe for. And we kind of have to do that with our traumas right now and things that we're holding on to. You have to keep just like pulling up something, and after you pull it up, don't linger on it and be like, oh yeah, you know what happened, or reach out to that person. No, don't do that. Don't do that. This is for us to release. So when you feel something like that, feel it, bring it up, understand, oversee it, know that everything that you went through, you know that you went through it, you felt that the energy of how sucky it was when it first hit you, the after effects, and thinking about it afterwards, and then slowly healing and getting to a point where you're now better, and those things can't affect you anymore. It's a whole process. Each of these things, each of these traumatic events and situations that go unresolved, or you don't have closure in, they go a long way, and it takes a lot. Sometimes it takes a lot of time to resolve these things with ourselves, and sometimes we don't even resolve things. We just keep moving on because time keeps moving, right? So we have to go in and look at some of these energies and release them and let them go. And right when you get something, pull up the next thing. And then right when you see something, pull up the next thing. Just to even acknowledge it. You don't have to go down a whole rabbit hole off of one event. Just pull it up, acknowledge it, see how it benefited you in the long run. See how it actually helps you out, Look at these characters not with resentment, but look at it all as if it's intentional, like a play, right? At the very end, everybody's like bowing and like, yeah, like you have to look at it kind of like that, right? You don't be judgmental, and just see the higher intelligence in the universe that brought you to the state that you are in now. And I'm not gonna be redundant, but y'all get it, right? At this point. And this is a test more than anything. This is like, okay, let's see how much you've learned over this time. Like let's see how much you've gained over this time. Do you see how many things you've been through? Do you see how many things you overcame? Do you see how many things that you actually did that you didn't think you could do, and so forth, and all the things that you've endured, all the things that you did, you were thankless jobs, you know what I mean? All the things that you did without any sort of return or favor or any acknowledgement or whatever, but you just did it just because you know in your heart that the world would be a better place if you're just a good person, and so you just choose to be a good person rather than being resentful or spiteful or so forth. So yeah, this is a moment right now to go and let go. Go in and then let go. Right? Go and let go. Oh, I forgot about that. I didn't even know that was there. Go in, let it go. Go in, let it go. Don't hold on to it, because when you start holding on to it, that's the space where the universe is like, oh, okay, you didn't learn that lesson yet, or you're still holding on to something. You haven't fully came around to using that for your benefit, right? So let it go. That's the cheat code. Just let it go, and understand that it's all love. It's all love, and there's a bigger process. There's a bigger reason for things, and now is the time where we can finally acknowledge those things that we wish other people would have acknowledged, or to a degree, and we can let it go. And now we can start to fill our vessel with new experiences, with that greater understanding now of how these subtleties of things can really change everything, right? How in some moments you thought about the moments over and over and over, you're like, yeah, man, I wish I could have said this in that time. Like, that would have been a cooler thing for me to do. Or, oh man, that would have prevented this whole thing from playing out if something were to happen, or if a conversation would have happened. But these are the things that you know now, so that way now, as we're building this new future going forward, it's going to be a lot more stable, right? We all have that update of, there's a lot of trauma, man, just collectively over the last how many years? Freaking slavery and freaking the Holocaust, like freaking Black Wall Street, and freaking Tuskegee Airmen. Like there's like it goes on and on and on. There's so much trauma. Like I've already started, like, you know, like even right now, right? I'm kind of like going through and picking up on certain events that were hugely traumatic over the years. And this is what we have to do with ourselves in our lifetime right now. This is literally the mission, right? Pick up, go through things, find things, grab things, cycle through them. Things that you might have forgot, just keep pulling them up within yourself. This isn't a group activity, it's something for you and your higher self. But collectively, if you think about it, I could literally be here all week just listing event after event after event where people were traumatized. You know, this happened. Ukraine, like, come on, like, it doesn't even, like, Gaza, like, all this stuff, man. Even recently, you know, the fires and all that stuff. So there's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of stuff that we've gone through as a collective. But here's the thing. The generations that led up to this point, they went through this stuff. They fought a lot of wars. They had a lot of disputes. There's a lot of racism. People hanging people in trees and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of collective drama. Oh my God. Even as I'm starting to feel about it, I didn't. But right now, what you see on my face, this like anguish a little bit, is the exact feeling that I was feeling when I was bringing up my own stuff. And now I'm starting to see that there's some collective drama too, or collective trauma that I also need to release and ground. Even right now, I'm making this video. But we all need to do it, and it's a very pivotal thing. It's a very, very pivotal thing because there's so much trauma that once we can look at it all and we can bring it up and we can acknowledge it, we can let go and do it again and do it again, we'll start to see exactly how much of it all was actually meant for us to be here. And if we look at where we are now, you'll see how much progress you've actually made, even as a collective, as humanity, right? Right now, the conversations that we're having on YouTube and all this stuff are way more profound than what was the case years ago. You know, this wasn't even possible. People weren't even talking to each other if they weren't the same race or if they weren't the same class or whatever. Like, we've come a long way as a collective, and it's about damn time that we get this new update where it's like, okay, yeah, all right, we get it. That was version 1. That was the first iPhone, whatever. Like, it's okay. It all happened, and we don't need to bring all of this into the future, because now this future is going to be all based off of past traumas and people trying to get more leverage based off of what happened in the past. And it's not about that. It's really about now, and it's about moving forward in a more balanced way, but learning from the past, you know, and not getting too caught up in those triggers again. But anyways, that's really just the main part of the story. I got my browns on, got my grounding browns. Took out my braids, set my antennas. But you know, not really much about me. It's really just about us. We're all here to ground and kind of release, come back to zero a little bit, just a little bit, not to. I kind of feel like we're already at a little bit of a zero state, you know what I mean? But to let these new blessings in, subconsciously, let's release all of the stuff that we've had before, so we can let in more blessings going forward. We can let in more subconscious memories, you know what I mean? We gotta release these hoes as a collective, and I feel like we're clear for takeoff. Clear, you know what I mean? Clearing out. All right, love y'all. See y'all around soon. Take care.